Masterminders, and welcome back. Today's topic is 7 ways experts say parents ruin their relationship with their kids. When it comes to kids, there's only one constant: change. And that's not just applicable to their likes and dislikes, but to the ever-evolving relationships with the parents too. Maybe you've stopped eating dinner together as a family, or perhaps it's gotten harder to move on after an argument, or rather than letting them try and fail, you've gotten used to intervening when things get rough. If any of these situations sound familiar to you, it's time to take a step back and work on your parent-child relationship before things take a turn for the worse. After all, the parent-child relationship forms the foundation of the child's future success. A study at the Harvard University shows that a loving parental relation is the strongest predictor of a child's future success. Here's how mental health experts say you could be ruining your relationship with your kids without realizing it. In other words, mental health experts say not to do the following. 1. You don't talk to your child about your feelings. Being able to name and process your feelings is a learned skill, one that kids typically develop at home. And parents can model how to name to tame feelings by doing it for themselves in plain view of their children, explains a New York-based child psychotherapist. While you should of course be careful not to dump grown-up problems on kids before they are ready for such burdens, sharing your own difficult moments in an age-appropriate way will only strengthen your bond, humanize you in their eyes, and show them how to safely process their own negative feelings as they come up. 2. You let your mood affect your interactions with them. When you've had a rough day at work or you're feeling exhausted, it might feel a bit phony to slap on a smile and greet your child with exuberance. But kids are sensitive to their parents' emotions, especially the negative ones. If you frequently interact with your child with a chip on your shoulder, you might be damaging the relationship. So here are some questions to consider. How do you act when your child walks into the room? Are you happy to see them, or do you ignore them? If the answer to that last question is yes, it's time to fake it till you make it. 3. You don't get enough quality time together. When it comes to parenting, spending quality time with your child is paramount. It's a chance to form a deep bond, impart your system of values, share important life lessons, and set a foundation for a long-lasting, healthy parent-child relationship. And as long as you're active about it, quality time as a family can be anything: going to the park, practicing a sport, playing a board game, reading together, or even just talking about your day. The key is staying present and attentive when you're together. You may be sitting next to your child, but if your attention is somewhere else, your child is missing you. 4. Your time spent together is on devices. In today's day and age, it's all too easy to rely on screens as a stand-in babysitter. But therapists agree that parents should resist that temptation. If you and your kids are being entertained by information on your electronic devices more than you're entertaining each other in real life, there may be something bigger at play here. Start with setting boundaries and limits around electronic use for all members of your family, and then start coming up with small ways that you can reconnect with one another, such as baking something sweet together, going for a walk together, or going out to eat and talking about life. 5. You avoid talking to your kids about difficult topics. Your kids are dealing with all sorts of complex emotions every day, and if you're not talking about the challenges they're facing, they only have their peers and their gut to guide them, and you can guess how that often turns out. Instead of making topics like sex or drugs too taboo to talk about, acknowledge that they exist and give your child the tools they need to make responsible, safe choices. Children are very perceptive and can pick up non-verbal cues around their parents' feelings of discomfort. Chances are your lack of communication is speaking volumes and it's sending the wrong message. 6. You do everything for your child. Parents these days tend to default to doing things for their child that they could very well do for themselves with some effort. And in doing so, they're likely holding their children back from reaching their full potential. When you do everything for your child, you are depriving them from having an authentic experience of who they are and what their strengths entail. 7. You don't let them fail. Similarly, when you shield your kids from failure and disappointment, you likely pass your own fear of failure down to them, which will send the message that their best just isn't good enough, and train them into risk-averse behavior. When you don't allow your children to fail, you are communicating that failure is unacceptable and shameful. Ultimately, living with the fear of failure leads to decreased experiences of vitality and expansivity. If you've been holding your kid back, it's time to work on that element of your parent-child relationship before they take a major hit to their confidence. So parents, how do you relate to any of these topics? Let us know your thoughts and comments below, and please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos.